Good evening, everyone, and welcome. This is Spirituality in Action. I remain your host, Clement Etuk. With me on the program is Mbah Justice Chukwuebuka. Welcome to the program.
Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening. Together we'll be treating the topic, depending on God's will to multiply our talents. Before I proceed, I would like to make the following announcement. We are excited to invite you to a special Christian Science lecture titled The Living Truth That Frees Mankind, presented by Chimezie Elvis Ahanonu CS. This inspiring lecture will explore how spiritual truth brings genuine freedom and healing to our lives. You can join us in 2 days. Tune in to 104.7 SMA FM on Thursday, the 19th of December 2024 at 6:30 p.m. for the radio lecture. And you can attend the live lecture at First Church of Christ Sciences, Iju, on Sunday, December 22nd at 2:30 p.m. The address of the church is 4 Adegui Onikoyi Savage Street, off Iju Road, Fagba bus stop. Both events are open to everyone and promise uplifting insights into the spiritual truths that free mankind. Now, without wasting much time, I'll get right to it. If anyone knows what God's will is for him or her, then that person would never face any insurmountable circumstance. How can we know what God's will is and depend on it to multiply our talents? Justice.
Yeah, thank you. Depending on God's will, in my own view, is to turn into God wholeheartedly to direct our paths. Why talents are spiritual gifts given to us to multiply, which comes in several abilities. In Matthew 25, we read parable of man who gave his 3 servants talents. 1 he gave 5, 2 and 1. The 2 he gave 5 and 2 talents multiplied theirs. Why the one that received 1, out of fear and inability to use his talent wisely, went and hid his own talent instead of making it productive? And for that reason, his talent was taken away from him to those that appreciate their master's efforts. Depending on God's will to multiply our talents is by giving gratitude with the talent you have, not minding how little it is, for gratitude alone attracts more blessing. Most of the times, fear makes us to hide that which God has divinely bestowed on us, but making God our number one in all we do open doors for opportunities. In the works of Mary Baker Eddy, Science and Health with Key to the Scripture, page 494, divine love always has met and always will meet every human need. This assurance frees us to use our talents boldly and wisely, knowing that God's intelligence and love are guiding us always. Therefore, depending on God's will is the ability to recognizing that God's provision always unfolds in his own right time. Just like Jesus did in feeding the multitude with the loaves and fishes. Talent multiplication lies on our faith and understanding of God's infinite blessings. Here are steps to discern God's will and depend on it. 1. Understand God's nature and our relation to him. In James 1:17, every good gift and every perfect gift is from above and cometh down from the Father of lights, with whom is no variableness, neither shadow of turning. We reflect God and his goodness at all times. 2. Pray for guidance and listen humbly. Prayer aligns our thoughts with divine mind, and humbly listening reveal more ideas and opportunities to utilize the talents God gave us. 3. Trust in God's infinite provision helps to understand that God's resources is unlimited and his supply meet every of our needs. 4. Use talent faithfully. In this angle, we have to be grateful always for what we always have, and with that, it will multiply. 5. Act in service to others. When we use our talents or gifts to serve others, we are also participating in his divine plan. Jesus' feeding of the multitude was not just to meeting a physical need, it demonstrates the spiritual law of selfless love and its power to multiply good.
Is that it? Is that all?
Yes.
Okay, I was taken in by the breakdown, and it's quite frankly it is very insightful. Okay, I'll just go straight to the second question. Share an instance in your life where your understanding of God's will enabled you to overcome the dark situation you were facing or the challenging situation you were facing, whichever one.
All right. A year ago, after my National Youth Service campaign, on the last day of the 21 days activities in the camp in Yobe State, I noticed that the bank account number that I opened with the NYSC was incorrect. And for that, I have to transport myself to Jamachuru to rectify the issue with the bank before coming back to East that day. Because the journey was 2 days, I pleaded with one of my roommates at camp to help me get a room in one of the hotels we lodged while coming, so that I can be able to get a place to sleep once I get to Abuja, knowing that bank procedures always take time. Getting to Access Bank in Jamachuru, there was many queue, and I have to obey the bank orders and praying for God's direction. When I finally met with the bank customer care, there was no trace on how I was unable to access my account and the allowance that had been paid into the account. And I was told to return the next day. At that point, I told them that I was a copper and that I'm supposed to travel back to East that day. More effort was given, and finally, they find out that the mistake was from my phone number linked to the account. The error was corrected, but I was told that I can only access the account after 24 hours. I was hoping for that money in the account for my transportation and the hotel accommodation. As it was getting late already, I had no place to stay in Yobe State. I quickly called a family member immediately to send a transportation fee that can take me to Abuja. She did, and I rushed down to park to enter a vehicle. Reaching to park, I was told that there was no vehicle going to Abuja anymore, and I was advised to first reach Jos. Then from Jos, I can get a vehicle that would take me to Abuja. That was my first time visiting Northern Side, and I can't even hear or speak the language. All my trust was on God, and I prayed for His will to be done. I trusted Him on His infinite supply and know that the issue with the bank will be sorted out before getting to Abuja. I kept on calling the friends that I pleaded to secure a room in a hotel, and he gave me hope that he would do as I pleaded. Getting to Jos, it was late already, but I finally got a bus. Before getting to Abuja, I got a message from the bank, and I was able to withdraw the accommodation fee for the hotel, and it's already 11 p.m. I don't know any place in Abuja, neither can I express myself very well in Hausa language. I met an Okada rider and told him the name of the hotel I'm supposed to lodge. He told me that he can't take me there because of kidnapping activity that was going on there and massive arrests by the Nigerian police force. I smiled and affirmed my understanding that in God's creation, there was never a word kidnapping and that I would never be kidnapped. I called my friend in the hotel several times to tell him the situation, and he never picked up my calls. I was totally confused and in a state of dilemma. I saw another bike man. I pleaded with him and also showed him my NYC ID card. and he accepted to take me to the hotel. Getting to the hotel gate was locked, and the gatekeeper was not there. Humanly, I was totally stranded, but spiritually, saw God's angels protecting me. I called again, and my friend picked up, and he told me that I was disturbing him with his girlfriend. He came out after I had pleaded with him to help me find the gatekeeper. He could not find the gatekeeper, and he just managed to help me collect my bag across the gate. He kept my bag outside the hotel premises and went back to the hotel room. It was at that point that I found out that he didn't pay for any accommodation on my behalf. I kept on knocking on the gate, hoping that the help I needed is always on my reach. After about 1 hour plus standing outside the hotel gate, I looked back and saw a group of armed men on a bike coming. They shouted, "We have seen one person." A thought asked me to run, that it was the kidnappers. I controlled my thought immediately and said, "There is no kidnapper in God's kingdom." Getting close to me, they pointed their guns at me, asking me to hands up. I dipped my finger in my pocket and brought out my ID card. They were shocked and asked me what I was doing outside there by that time. I narrated the story to them, and they were so angry to hear that. They were so mad at my friend for ignoring me, and it was at that point the gatekeeper appeared from nowhere, claiming that he thought it was a kidnapper knocking at the gate. The gate was finally opened, and I slept at the reception and continued my journey the next day. In this experience, I completely understand that God's will to us is always and forever of good and not of evil.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you for that very insightful testimony. Now, for inquiries and comments, get in touch via email to spiritualityonpoint@gmail.com. Spiritualityonpoint, one word, @gmail.com. Or you can reach us by telephone. The numbers to call are 080-3333-3803. I'll take the number again, 080-3333-3803 or 080-6231-4394. I'll take the number again, 080-6231-4394. You can reach us on these numbers. Have a lovely weekend. See you same time next week.
Space to everyone.